In the name of God, the Almighty, the Merciful. Alif, Lam, Mim, Ra. Those are the proofs of the writ, and what has been sent down to thee from thy Lord is the truth, but most men do not believe. God it is who raised up the heavens without pillars you can see, then established himself upon the throne, and he made subject the sun and the moon, each running for a stated term. He directs the matter. He sets out and details the proofs, that you might be certain of the meeting with your Lord. And he it is that spread out the earth, and placed therein firm mountains and rivers, and of every fruit he made therein 2 kinds. He covers the night with the day. In that are proofs for people who reflect. And in the earth are tracts adjacent to one another, and gardens of grapevines, and crops, and date palms with roots shared and independent, watered with one water. And some of them we make exceed in food others. In that are proofs for people who reason. And if thou marvel, then marvellous is their saying, will we, when we are dust, be in a new creation? Those are they who have denied their Lord, and those will have yokes on their necks, and those are the companions of the fire, therein they abide eternally. And they ask thee to hasten the evil before the good, when there have passed away before them exemplary punishments. And thy Lord is full of forgiveness towards men, despite their injustice. But thy Lord is severe in retribution. And those who ignore warning say, oh, that a proof were but sent down upon him from his Lord. Thou art but a warner, and for every people is a guide. God knows what every female bears, and what the wombs decrease, and what they increase, and everything with him is in measure. The knower of the unseen and the seen, the great, the exalted. It is the same who among you conceals his speech, and who makes it public, and who hides by night and goes forth by day. He has successive angels before him and after him, keeping him by the command of God. God changes not what is in a people, until they change what is in themselves. And when God intends evil for a people, there is no repelling it, and they have besides him no ally. He it is that shows you the lightning as fear and hope, and produces the heavy clouds. And the thunder gives glory with his praise, as do the angels in fear of him. And he sends the thunderbolts, and strikes therewith whom he wills. And they dispute concerning God, and he is strong in assault. To him belongs the call of truth, and those to whom they call besides him answer them nothing, save it be as one stretching forth his hands to water, that it might reach his mouth, but it reaches it not. And the supplication of the false claimers of guidance is only in error. And to God submits whoso is in the heavens and the earth, willingly or unwillingly, as do their shadows in the mornings and the evenings. Say thou, who is the Lord of the heavens and the earth? Say thou, God. Say thou, have you then taken, besides him, allies which have not power to do themselves benefit or harm? Say thou, is the blind equal to the seeing, or is darkness equal to the light? If they have ascribed to God partners that created the like of his creation, then the creation appears the same to them. Say thou, God is creator of all things, and he is the one, the vanquishing. He sends down from the sky water, and the valleys flow according to their measure, then the flood carries a swelling froth, and from what they burn in the fire, seeking ornaments or tools, there is a froth like it. Thus does God present truth and vanity. As for the froth, it departs as dross, and as for what is of benefit to men, it remains in the earth. Thus does God strike similitudes. For those who respond to their Lord is the best, and those who respond not to him, had they all that is in the earth altogether, and the like thereof with it, they would seek to ransom themselves thereby. Those have an evil reckoning, and their shelter is Gehenna, and evil is the resting place. Is then he who knows that what is sent down to thee from thy Lord is the truth, like him who is blind? There take heed but those of insight, those who fulfill the covenant of God, and break not the agreement, and who join what God commanded to be joined, and fear their Lord, and dread the evil of the reckoning, and who are patient, seeking the face of their Lord, and uphold the duty, and spend of what we have provided them, secretly and openly, and they avert evil with good. Those have the good final abode, gardens of perpetual abode, which they enter, and whoso was righteous among their fathers, and their wives, and their progeny. And the angels will enter upon them from every gate. Peace be upon you, because you were patient, and excellent is the final abode. But those who break the covenant of God after its agreement, and sever what God has commanded to be joined, and work corruption in the land, those have the curse, and they have the evil abode. God expands provision for whom he wills, and he straightens. And they exult at the life of this world, but the life of this world, compared with the hereafter, is only a passing pleasure. And those who ignore warning say, "Oh, that a proof were but sent down upon him from his Lord!" Say thou, God leads astray whom he wills, and guides to him such as turn back, those who heed warning, and whose hearts find rest in the remembrance of God. In truth, in the remembrance of God do hearts find rest. Those who heed warning and do righteous deeds, they have blessedness and a good journey's end. Thus have we sent thee among a community. Communities have passed away before it, that thou recite to them what we have revealed to thee. But they deny the Almighty. Say thou, He is my Lord, there is no God save He. In Him have I placed my trust, and to Him is my return. And were there a recitation whereby the mountains were set in motion, or the earth rent asunder, or the dead caused to speak? Ellipsis. This would be it. The truth is, to God belongs the command altogether. Have not those who heed warning despaired that, had God willed, he would have guided mankind altogether? And those who ignore warning, disaster will cease not to strike them for what they have wrought, or to descend near their abodes, until the promise of God comes. God will not break the appointment. And mocked were messengers before thee, and I granted those who ignored warning respite. Then I seized them, and how was my retribution? Is then he who stands over every soul for what it earns, ellipsis, in need of partners? But they have made for God partners. Say thou, name them. if you would inform him of what he knows not in the earth, or if it is a show of speaking. The truth is, their scheme has been made fair to those who ignore warning, and they have been turned away from the path. And whom God sends astray, for him there is no guide. They have punishment in the life of this world, and the punishment of the hereafter is more severe, and they have against God no defender. The likeness of the garden which is promised to those of prudent fear. Beneath it rivers flow, its food constant, and its shade. That is the final outcome of those who are in prudent fear. And the final outcome of the false claimers of guidance is the fire. And those to whom we gave the writ exult at what is sent down to thee. And among the parties is he who denies some of it. Say thou, I am only commanded to serve God, and to ascribe not a partnership to him. To him do I invite, and to him is my return. And thus have we sent it down as an Arabic judgment, that they might understand. And if thou follow their vain desires after what has come to thee of knowledge, thou wilt have against God neither ally nor defender. And we sent messengers before thee, and we appointed for them wives and progeny. And it was for a messenger to bring a proof only by the leave of God, for every term is a writ. God eliminates what he wills, and he confirms, and with him is the foundation of the writ. And whether we show thee part of what we promise them, or we take thee, but upon thee is the notification, and upon us is the reckoning. Have they not considered that we come to the earth, diminishing it from its extremities? And God judges. There is no adjuster of his judgment, and he is swift in reckoning. And there schemed those before them, but to God belongs scheming altogether. He knows what each soul earns, and the atheists will come to know for whom is the final abode. And those who ignore warning say, Thou art not an emissary. Say thou, Sufficient is God as witness between me and you, and whoso has knowledge of the writ, understands these things.